I love a good ear party, Reyna.
Oh, yes. We need to have
Well,
one.
while Olivia and I, our amazing content creator manager, was just talking, we were talking when we were waiting for you about our ear piercings, and her piercer, she's probably like, stop talking about this, Jen, but her piercer um actually traveled with the Grateful Dead band back in the day
That's
and
amazing.
was their piercer.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I love a good ear party.
Yes,
And
it's the whole conversation.
yeah,
That's
now,
awesome.
but ear piercings are addictive, just like tattoos are addictive. So it's like, oh, be careful once you get one. Do you have any tattoos?
I don't yet, but is on the plan to get one with both of my daughters. But one of them got ahead because she is a Libra, so she cannot wait on anybody making a decision. She's like, I'm in and I'm
Oh, okay.
ready for it. And she sent me a picture of that last night and a video. So I'm
Oh,
getting
so
ready to share that.
she just said, I'm ready to get one. She went and got one without you.
She did. Well, we've been talking about it for 6 months, so I don't blame her on the waiting. She is, I'm in, I'm going for it. And her first one is my birth year. So she wanted to honor her mom.
Oh, oh,
And it's my birthday year.
you have a birthday coming. Okay, so what did she get? What's the tattoo?
It is in 1984 with two butterflies.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I wish I could show a picture or a video, but it was definitely sweet and
Oh,
bittersweet at the same time that I missed that first time with her this time around. But we'll get one together.
oh my gosh. And it's your birth year. It's actually your birthday month. You have
Yes, it
a birthday
is.
coming up.
And we celebrate all month long, Jen, because it's also your birthday. So that just
Uh,
extends the
it was all,
celebration.
hey, fellow Capricorn, I'm honored to be in your presence.
Yes.
Um, all right, let's get started. Today, I am joined by one of the best people in all of the land. And I mean this. Hold on. I'm sending you a virtual hug. Give me a virtual hug back. Oh,
Very tight.
uh, Reyna Estrada. She is the official national internet sales manager for MI Homes. But, I was actually looking at your LinkedIn profile, and guys, if you go connect with her on LinkedIn, the very first things that are on her LinkedIn: servant leader, human connection, mission, new home sales enthusiast, online sales expert, IBS speaker, NHB Silver Award winner, 2023 Pro
Oh my
Builder,
goodness.
40 under 40, MI Homes ambassador. I love that you lead with servant leader and human connection mission. And that's why I love you so much. We are so excited that you're on Ops with us today.
Jen, do you know I love you more? I am serving from the heart. And I just love human and humanity. And I'm always seeing the best in people. I think that's just a reflecting light that I have when I come with anybody in connection. I think it's not a coincidence, right,
Mhm.
that we connect in any way. So I'm excited to connect with more Do You Convert team members like Olivia, we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
just because it's a family. I think we bring so much to the table that we can share and propel forward together in life, professionally or
Mm.
personally. And that's where my heart is when working with people.
Yes. Well, that's what I want to talk with you about today, which is the main reason I wanted to have you on, and then also just because I want to hang out with you. But let's get into before we kind of get into what online people are talking about right now. Can you do a couple of housekeeping things with me? I got some Do You Convert housekeeping things I need to
Ooh,
do.
let's do it.
And one of them actually involves you. First and foremost, the Builder Show is coming up, right?
I am
Are
so
you
excited.
speaking this year?
Not this year.
Okay, you spoke last year though, right?
I did. I did
Okay.
have the opportunity to do that.
So, I get to see you there. So Builder Show coming up, online sales, there's lots of education for you out there, so you should definitely attend. It's February 27th, I believe it starts. And it goes through like the 30th that week. You have some online sales specialists that are up for awards,
We
right?
do. A shout out to Carrie in Sarasota for OSC of the Year,
Whoop,
Lauren and Emily for Team of the Year from
whoop.
Columbus. So I am super, super excited about the Nationals. Also to see you speak and see you be recognized for your award too.
Oh, see, look, Rana, I'm trying to make this about her. She keeps flipping it back
Okay.
to me.
Okay, a little bit. Okay, I gave a shout out to my team, but also to Do You Convert. We have partnered with Do You Convert for years.
Mhm.
So definitely is a partnership to see our team get recognized for their growth professionally
Yeah,
too.
we're
So
gonna party, and we're gonna party for our birthdays too.
we're going to
Um,
dance.
we're gonna dance. Hold that thought because I want to talk to you about that. Okay. The other housekeeping thing is we have our online sales academy that is coming up. Jesse Suggs and I are going to be putting that on April 3rd and 4th. It is virtual. If you are wondering, should you attend the online sales academy? You should if you are new to the role, haven't had any formal training, or maybe you've been in the role for a while, but you need some structure, you need a refresh, you need some processes and want to get back into do some fundamentals. So you should definitely check that out. And then my most exciting holiday, other than Raina's birthday, my most exciting holiday is coming up. Reyna, February 9th is National OSC Day.
It is. I can't wait. I am counting down to celebrate the team. We have 27 OSCs across 17 markets.
Ooh.
And our national support team is 4. So I can't wait to celebrate them. I don't know when this is coming out, so I'll try to keep the surprise a little bit too.
Yes, it will come out. So this should come out next week or so before. So if you're listening, leaders, get ready, right? Get ready to celebrate your team. And Reyna, what did you do last year for your team? Do you remember what you guys did?
Yeah, so this is a third year.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
the year before that, I reach out to our sales leaders in each market to recognize their team. I saw a lot of gifts being sent, a lot of flowers being sent to
Uh-huh.
celebrate the OSCs. The year prior, I reached out to Ernie Consultants, our on-site sales team, and there's over
Okay.
200 of them. And I asked them to personally send a note via text, video, or email to
Mhm.
celebrate and appreciate them on this special day as well. Definitely, we have sent them books, gift cards, and there's a gift coming this year too.
Ooh. Okay. So February 9th, everybody. Definitely go check out. We'll have a blog about this. You can read about it and get some ideas about how to celebrate your online sales specialist.
Yes,
I'm so
sales leaders,
excited.
save the date on your calendar, plan for it to celebrate, appreciate, and value your team and dance with them.
And dance with them. Okay, moving on to what are online people talking about right now? What are you hearing from your team? You said you have 27 internet sales managers that you are working with, right? Across the country.
Correct.
What are you hearing? What's the vibe?
Definitely right before the holidays, I met with everybody, and we just had our kickoff meeting for 2024 this week. And
Mhm.
definitely the increase on internet leads on calls are up. So I think the spring selling season started a little bit earlier.
Whoop.
Um, so definitely a lot more appointments year over year, which that just informs that we're going to have more sales. We need an appointment to have that sales. And all 3 of those are up in the first 2 weeks of this month.
Yes, things are rocking and rolling. Rena, I was talking with a builder the other day that had like in the whole month of December had 150 appointments, but in the first 2 days of January already had 50 appointments.
Wow. On the
Like
first,
the first couple of days, the team had already booked 50 appointments, but in December there was 150.
150.
So yeah, like spring market is early. In fact, we talked about this on the last episode. We're seeing traffic just go, almost reach records, right? Right now. So the leads will follow the traffic. So
Absolutely.
hold hold on to your butts. Like, let's go, let's get ready. Have that intentional. We talked a little bit about last time, like have that intentional time blocking in your day so you can get
100% time block.
everything accomplished. Hey, side note, I have to tell you this because I didn't really get a chance to talk to you, but I met with your support team, and I'll have you explain a little bit about what that is in just a second. But I met with your support team yesterday, and they were teaching me. They were
They're the
teaching me.
best. I learn
Yeah.
from them every day.
But as a leader, like it's important, like make sure you ask questions and be curious with the people that you're managing, and let them talk to you, let them teach you. Like you can learn
Absolutely.
so much. They were telling me about Mel Robbins' 5-second rule.
Yes.
I didn't know about that. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go check that out. It was so cool. It was
Yeah.
so cool.
Those habits and routines, I am always open to hearing from the team.
Yeah.
An active listener, we have to be learning. We have to have the growth mindset, not just as an OSC, but as a leader to be
Mhm.
able to serve the team and our customers in return.
Yeah. Okay, what else are online people talking about? Yeah, they're busy. We're in the process of finalizing the benchmarks. Everybody's like, got their goal setting done, and they're looking at, okay, what do my goals need to be for this year as far as metrics, right?
Absolutely.
And so we're in the process at GConvert. We're finalizing those Q4 metrics, but then also looking at the data for the year, and going to be putting that out there as far as our key takeaways. But I wanted to share with you a sneak peek.
Ooh,
I
can't
want to share
wait.
with you, Reyna, but also with everybody listening,
With everybody listening.
a quick sneak peek at what how 2023 is shaken out, so you know how to plan for 2024. So we analyze data from 112 online sales specialists. We work with more than that, but again, we are only looking at online sales specialists that count everything the same way. Like they have to count leads the same way, appointments the same way, sales the same way, to
I
keep
agree.
to keep the data integrity there. So we looked at 112 OSCs. We looked at 200,000 leads,
Wow.
63,000 appointments, 14,000 sales. And the 2023 averages are looking to be right about 41% on
That's
average
amazing.
for lead to appointment, which is up from 2022. 2022, I think, was 37%. Again, don't hold me to exactly these numbers because we haven't put this out in print yet. So
I'm
just
holding you up to it.
yeah, just 41%
Just
lead to appointment, 20% appointment to sale, which is so awesome that when we look at from 2019 to now, and we look, I mean,
right.
think about everything that's changed in the market since 2019. The appointment to sale really has, I mean, that has stayed really consistent,
I
like
love that.
20%. Yeah. And then overall contribution across the board right now is looking to be right about 47%. In Q4, it actually was back up to 50%. You might remember, Reyna, it had dipped a little bit,
We
like when we were
did.
in, an influx of walk-ins and realtors.
Yes.
Now it's creeping back up to that 50%. So if anybody's ever wondering, like, where should I be? 40, 20, 50. 40, 20,
40,
50. Like that's what I'm
20,
going with. 40,
50.
20, 50. 40, 20,
I
50.
think we align with you and do you convert because we just kicked off the meeting and 40% is our goal for lead to appointment with a 50% sales contribution.
Come
Were
on.
you on that call yesterday?
I was creeping. I was Zoom creeping.
I love this that we are aligning with the goals, right? And having
Yeah.
those stretch goals too, right?
Yes.
And this is high performing teams.
Yeah.
Definitely having that coaching and
Yeah.
resources to be able to perform. So that's exactly where we are for goal setting.
Yeah.
Or lead to appointment or answer rate went up last year for both as well.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to see that trending for the online sales team in our industry.
Woo. I'm so excited. I love talking numbers, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do. I had to pull a lot of numbers for the kickoff meetings. I
Yeah.
think probably 10 of my slides on the presentation were numbers from leads,
No,
appointments,
you're
answers, sales, and you have
yeah.
to know where you are because that informs your path forward for the new year.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Reyna, we're moving on to
Yes.
our special guest topic, human connection. So that is your superpower. Like, seriously, I remember when I met you at the beginning of 2022, I think it was. I feel like I've known you my whole life, but
That's a special
2022,
year.
Mike Lyon said, I want you to meet Reyna. You guys are going to be best friends. And I was like,
He put it
really?
into the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, really? He's like, oh, yeah, you're going to be best friends. Instantly, right? Instant human connection, best friends, right? And you're like my accountability partner, mentor as well. But this superpower of human connection, you're an OG online sales specialist. So when did you first start in the role? And I want to know, like, how did you use this superpower when you were in the seat as an online sales specialist? How did this benefit you?
Those are all great questions. And I hope Mike is not jealous that we became BFFs, but he called it out, right?
He did. He put it into the
He
universe.
put it
So
into the universe. So here we are.
yeah.
Um, Definitely, I feel it is just a passion to serve others, whether it is in homeownership or just attaining their dreams, right, in life. So,
Mhm.
as an OG back in 2008, when I started in the role and I was
Oh,
introduced to, I
oh,
know, I was introduced to
oh.
online sales, I think I was a little bit scared. Um, to be honest, it's like, hi, I'm going to take that superpower that I at that time probably didn't know I had
Yeah.
into that phone conversation. How am I going to connect to the customers and do what our on-site sales team does and is build trust?
Mm.
And I think one of the things that I take, like you said, one of the gifts and talents is just to be an active listener, right? And
Mm.
ask, just be curious about that customer. And just like you're having a conversation with a friend. And I started treating those calls more of transformational than a transactional phone call for a number, right? Is like how I'm going to impact this customer's life for a decision or a guidance. And the reason I think one that drove that is I was 19 when I built my first home. So I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if I was signing my soul away on those financing documents. So that was also born is how can I help people to educate them to that next step? How can I set those expectations of everything that the home buying and home building process journey looks like? So that also was born from my experience of buying and building of the things that I didn't know. I wanted to make sure that I shared that with a customer and give him reassurance of the journey that is fun, right? It is emotional, but it's also fun on that dream of your new home or just being a homeowner. So that's where a lot of the things were born on how I was going to connect. And I wasn't looking that has a number on the call, has a number on the sheet. It was how can I change people's life from that interaction that I had with them.
Oh, oh, I I have chills. Okay, I just want to original quote from Reyna. Transformational versus transactional. The
I think
experience, I mean, what you're saying, like I just wrote that down because that is so true. Like we forget what a big deal this is because we're in it like this, like we're just in this world day to
we are.
day. So it can seem a little transactional. We just spent 5 minutes talking about numbers.
Yes, we
and
did.
now, and now we're going, okay, wait a second. There's a lot of stories behind those
Yes.
numbers, those leads, those appointments. It's really those customers, those appointments, and those sales. There's a lot of stories. And so I love what you
Everyone
just
has a
said,
story.
transformational. And so as an online sales specialist, what you're saying is you took that, you were empathetic with those customers you were talking to because you had been a new home buyer, not knowing what you were doing,
You're not.
right? And you were relying on somebody to guide you through that.
So absolutely. So I definitely wanted to become that person. And what I needed to do, like you said, is being empathetic with their journey because everyone has a story. And I don't think that those two words, I knew that back then. I just know them now, right? Where I was creating that impact for every customer that I came in contact with. And over 12 years on the seat of OC is countless, right, of the times. But we are that first impression, right?
Mm.
So you had to be welcoming. It is the front door to your company. And you have to care for other people that you're not even going to meet in person. So in order to do this role, right, with passion, you really have to care of the impact that you're making on that person's life for the company and for your city at the end of the day.
Mm. Man, your ISMs are lucky to have you as their mentor and their leader. Um, you have such an amazing outlook, and just positivity and energy just oozes from you. I've seen this firsthand because I've been in your presence in person also. How do you stay so positive and keep that amazing outlook? Like, what's the secret?
What is the secret? Oh my goodness. I think being grateful for every opportunity for what I have been given, and always seeing the positive side of things. What is this teaching me? What am I going to learn? What is this person bringing into my life, and what can I give in return? So one, I think the gratitude of every day. If I woke up today, there is a reason and there's a purpose. So I don't know what that is, but I definitely wake up with that intention of whose life or who is going to impact my life, right? That return. So that's definitely one. I think the second one is generosity. I think everyone here is given talents and gifts and deserve for you to share with the world, right? I think there's a market share, there's enough for everybody, and for you to share those with the people that you come in contact with. That's the way to propel forward together. And that's one of the themes for the year for our ISM team is better together, right? How do we enrich our lives and that? So giving back, and that's where the last 2 years of my career has been is how do I give back, right, to others that are entering this role or entering the industry? How do I pay it forward? So I will say the combination of those two.
And you like to celebrate everything. I feel
Yes.
like you just want to dance. Like, hey, let's have a moment. Let's dance. Let's just celebrate. Where does that come from?
Where does that come from? I definitely, yes, I celebrate everything. I think we talked about it earlier on the call
We're
too with the
celebrating the month. We're
yes,
celebrating the month of our birthdays.
yeah,
Yes.
celebrating the month, celebrating everybody's birthday, work anniversary, life-changing moments is getting married, becoming a homeowner. It's just because you have all those small things you had to be appreciative of. So I think comes back to being grateful for that you had to celebrate, right? In order to welcome anything else, I always tell my mind is like we have to get rid of the old to welcome the new. So you
Mhm.
had to celebrate it, right? And you had to remember those specific moments or things or times to celebrate.
Yeah.
I think it ties back with the gratitude.
Yeah. I love that so much. So I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want you to go back to your OG online sales specialist self. Okay. How has this position changed, do you feel like, since you were initially in the role? And what did you say? 2008?
2008. Yes.
Fast forward to 2024. That's 16 years ago. Am I doing the math
Yes. We're
right?
doing math. Remember we talked about math
Oh yeah,
earlier. It's
we were
14, I
done with
think.
math. Okay.
Oh, it is
How
16 years.
how has this position changed?
So I remember when we started, definitely the market, right, was a little bit different with the role because it started as they were seeing it as an administrative role where you
Mm,
were doing online sales, you were doing marketing events, you were probably covering the models, you were attending a lot of different meetings, just whatever was that there, the OSC would do it,
it's like a
right?
catch-all. Like we called it
Yes.
like the junk drawer. Oh, get
Yes,
into
jump
online
drawer.
sales. They'll do it.
They'll do it. So I think that's where it started.
Yeah.
And I remember too, it started just with one in
Yeah.
each builder or each market is like, because we didn't know what volume one OSC could handle, right? For calls or leads and follow up, because there's a lot of parts to the process. So I think that was the biggest change. We were entering manual leads into the system back then, right? There was an integration. There was other tools that we have been adding to the website for customers to be more informed. I think we were gatekeepers a lot of that information back in 2008, that you had to provide your email to see the floor plan or provide this to see something. Now it's very transparent. So customers know a lot more, right? And it's reassurance and certainty that they're looking for when they reach out to you, more than the information, because they already have it online, being transparent. So that has changed. I'm going from this role to, like, if we really want to do the best, is like we had to prioritize or commitment and or role and responsibility. So we took a lot of those marketing things out of the role, because we had to interact with our customers and connect with the customers, and we can be doing it when we were doing all these other things. And now we have teams, serving, right? So, and that's the way to do it, because if you want 7 days to be available 24/7, and I'm not saying 24 hours, but 7 days a week, you really have to have a team in order to be sustainable.
Right.
And to provide higher results. And now into leadership roles that we didn't have before. So it's a whole department.
It's crazy, right?
It's a whole division, and how it has grown for that role.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, just the sheer volume of leads, and as so much has shifted digitally, right? It's like back in the day, it was a couple of different lead sources, and you could do other things, but now everything is shifted online. And so, you have to prioritize and just focus your attention on responsiveness and those leads and those other activities. No more junk drawer, right? We have a nice organized stay in our lane, focused work. What would be your advice to, going back to, your new online sales self, what you know now, how things have changed? What would be your advice?
One of the things that comes to mind is anybody coming into either the industry or this role and sees an OG or see someone on the seat that has been doing it for 5 years, they think is impossible to get there, because they move so fast. They know everything. And it's like, I want to be like that person, right? I want to get there. And it takes time. So that will be my advice, right? You become a subject matter expert after you put 10,000 hours of work, or 5 years. And it takes time to know the process, become knowledgeable, become comfortable on this seed. And I'm not putting a time frame necessarily, but just know that you will get there, right? By doing the practice, by doing definitely building the habits and consistency. But it does take time. Just like any position, I think sometimes we want to walk in and see somebody else doing it, and you will get there. Definitely with best practices.
I remember that feeling of, like, I want to know everything before I start taking leads, because I don't want to look stupid, or I don't want to, I don't want to feel like inadequate because I don't know something, or, like I'm not confident in talking with people. Or I think that is hard, like at the beginning.
It is hard.
I love what you're saying is, like, it's okay. Like, you're not going to know everything in the first month. Like, you've got to give yourself time. I even think it takes 6 months to really get into where you feel like pretty good, but then like a year to really hone in on, like, some of those specific skills.
Absolutely. Right. You have to crawl, walk, and run to get there, and give yourself those time frames for each of those areas where you are absorbing, learning, and then putting things into practice, and showing the customer that you care and you will find the information goes a long way, versus giving their own information or not taking that phone call or not responding on time.
What traits do you think make for a good online sales specialist right now? I mean, you've hired and trained lots of people. So what traits do you feel like you need to be successful in this role?
I remember having a list for this, but a lot of things that come down to is that attitude or that passion or that caring of just serving and helping others.
Mm,
Because again, you're going to have different personalities, different buyers, right? Different backgrounds. And just to know that you care doesn't matter where the customer is, that you're going to be able to help and meet them there is one of them. Definitely becoming an active listener because you have to listen, or a story getter, I think is what you also have to call it,
mm,
Jen, right? To get the story from the
mhm,
customer. Um, Also to be organized, or to be protecting of your time. How do you work your day, right? To be
mm.
able to maximize the opportunities of providing more appointments or sales contributions. So you have to be organized at the end of the day too.
Yeah, love it. Organized, empathetic,
Empathetic. Yes.
curious. Look, see my sign? Curious, hustler, ambitious, service,
Oh, there you
execution.
they're
Come
perfect.
on,
It was
Chase.
like I was reading that.
I know. I had to move. Woo, woo.
You
Along
gave me
with
the answer there.
an electric bolt,
Yes.
dynamite.
I think you were doing a dance move there, Jen.
Um, hey, so I wanna share with you. We're doing this thing, Rena, where we have online sales specialists send us in a video mailbag question. So I want to share this with you, and then let's talk about it. This is from Abby, and she's got a question which I think is so important. Let's take a listen.
Hey Jen, I was wondering, what advice would you give to a new OSC starting out who's coming up against resistance, whether that's from existing sales team or other OSCs who maybe have been in the role a little bit longer? When you come up against that, we do it this way because we've always done it this way. What advice would you give to a new OSC just starting out?
Mm, okay, so let's unpack this. Let's talk about the first one. New OSC coming in, resistance from sales. What any advice there?
Yes, I think one of the things is as you on board on this role or start training or start is like visiting those communities and creating that relationship from the get-go. Wasn't
Okay.
finding what's important to them on how you can support their goals as well. Right?
Yeah.
When you are sending customers, you know who you're sending them to. You need to be comfortable that the customer that you just spent time with, building a relationship over the phone and trust, that the new consultant will also carry that for you when you pass the baton. So, as a new
Agree.
OSC, building that relationship, start visiting them from the get-go. Don't wait until 6 months later to build a relationship. I think you have to do it from the beginning, caring for what their goals are so you can also share your goals and align those together to be successful.
Yeah. Insert yourself into their world. I'm looking you in the eyeballs if you're watching this on YouTube. Insert yourself into their world. Communication, right? And if you're remote, like if you can't get out there to everybody, set up a Zoom
Point.
call, like get on just like this and have a conversation, introduce yourself. You are in street cred building mode at the beginning. So
Absolutely.
set good appointments, communicate, all those things. I love it. Okay, now this is an interesting one. Exists a new OSC coming into a team dynamic where there's an existing online sales specialist and there might be some team friction, or like, what advice should that new OSC have? What do you think? I love this question.
That's a good one. I think that should have started in the recruiting and hiring process. Because everybody has to come with an open mindset. There are 100 ways. You talked about it, Jen, is like the long way, the short way, the right way, the wrong way, right? There's so many ways.
All the
There,
ways.
all the ways. There is a way
Yeah.
to do things. Not necessarily that's always the right way, but
Mhm.
being open-minded to learning a way of doing things because you're going to have to adapt to a new company, adapt to it, probably a new
Yeah.
system. And
Mhm.
sometimes processes have changed. We didn't talk about this earlier, but sales processes have changed, right? Where there is
Yeah.
like offers, lotteries. So you have to be an open mindset to adapt and be flexible to the new OSC.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about this, and I know I don't want to go too long on this, but what comes to mind is, yes, you have to have an open mindset. There are certain non-negotiable things, right? When you're entering into a team and there's been foundational things established, and like this is the company culture and protocol that are non-negotiable, like that you adopt, right? Then there's certain things that there's ideas and like, hey, could we do it this way? Is there a better way to do this? Is there a better process? Is there something different we could say in a template or a process or a different tool? And I think that as a new OSC coming in, take some time. Don't come in hot with like, let's change this.
Everything.
Okay. Ease into it, right? Take some time, right? Acclimate, build a relationship with your new teammates, build trust. And then, slowly start, making some suggestions. And then I would say the advice for the OG OSC that has a new team member who's all, bright eyed and bushy tailed and excited with all these new ideas. Be open. You could try anything like, hey, let's try this new way for 30 days and let's see what happens.
Perfect. Test it.
Right?
Right.
Test it out.
You have a good point is how can
Yeah.
we do it better? And the only way will be to
Right.
collaborate.
Yeah.
Right.
You can
Bring in both
test out,
ideas.
you could test out anything in a specific market, or you could test out something like with a specific lead type, with a schedule. That's a big one. Like, hey, I don't like the way this schedule is. Could we try a different schedule?
Try it.
Let's try for 30, 90 days, whatever. And then let's reevaluate.
I agree.
There's no I in team.
There's no I in team. No, but I agree. I think the collaboration that comes in a big time, and just try it or be open to do it a better way. I'm not saying that is the way, but just better together.
Reyna, it is now time for the skills check portion of the Online People Talking podcast, because like Ice Cube says, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. So here's the skills check right now is we're going to take a book out of Reyna's Human Connection, build trust and rapport with your customers. And one of the easiest ways to do that is with the way that you are greeting the customer on the phone, on inbound and outbound calls, and building rapport by using their name right at the beginning. Getting their name right at the beginning of that inbound call is one of the quickest ways that you can do that. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. And smile.
Smile while you dial, right? That's old school. That's old school. Smile while you dial. So here's your homework, everybody. Take a check, check yourself. How are you answering your phone? All you have is the tone of which your voice, the tone of your voice and the words that you're saying. That's all you have. Your 55% of your communication is visual, and you don't have that when you're on the phone.
We don't.
So that's wiped out, right? So how are you answering the phone? Thank you for calling MI Homes. This is Reyna. How may I help you today? We got to be saying that every time. And then we're going, oh my gosh, so glad you called. And what was your name? What was your name? And then you're using their name throughout the call. What we saw when we shopped the builders is that only like 30% of online sales specialists out there, when they're answering those inbound calls, are actually asking for the name up front. So that's a huge skills check that everybody can work on. Yeah. And it's an instant rapport builder.
That's how you make connection.
That's how you make connection. That's what it's all about. I think the title of this podcast is Human Connection with Reyna Estrada, National Internet Sales Manager for MI Homes.
And where do we go from here?
This is where we go from here. One, me thanking you for spending your time with us today. And the final question I have for you, Reyna, is, are you down with OPT?
Yes, you know me. We'll have to dance to that one.
And we're dancing to that one in Vegas next month.
We are. Thank you, Jen, for your time, this space, and guiding our new home specialists in the industry. Big hug.